just a little bit of breathing, and I'm just getting a gentle neck stretch and release. So if you haven't got a soft stability ball like this, you can just use a rolled up towel. So just anything that will allow your shoulder to support or be supported on top of that prop that you're putting underneath your arm, and just so you can actually feel your ribs gently moving in and out. So I love the soft stability ball, so I'm going to go ahead and use that. And then I'm just going to give that shoulder permission to rest. Now we just want to block off the opposite nostril. We're just doing single nostril breathing, and you're only breathing in and out through your nose. So breathing in and then breathing out. So you're going to try and keep the ribs gently moving. So don't try and force. You shouldn't feel your whole shoulder coming up too much. A little bit of elevation is fine, but you want to try and keep it as gentle as possible. So just keep breathing, blocking off that opposite nostril, so the nostril furthest away from the side that you've got the ball in. And just a couple more gentle breaths, just feeling that movement of your rib cage out on the inhale and gently deflating back into your body on the exhale. Now you're going to hold on to your wrist, and we're just going to add a gentle neck stretch. So the action of the arm is that you're going to pull it across very gently, but it's just in an effort to anchor your shoulders so you can stretch these tight neck muscles that come up through here. So don't yank on your arm, don't be too forceful, just let the breath guide you. So here we go, inhale. As you exhale, just gently gliding the arm across, and then let that ear reach up to the ceiling. So you're tilting away from the prop under your arm. As you inhale, just release, let the body return. And then exhale, gliding the arm down and across as you lengthen your ear up towards the ceiling, as if you're trying to listen. And then inhale and release. As you exhale, gliding the arm across, reach the ear up towards the ceiling. And then just do tiny little yes nods. So don't be too forceful or vigorous with this. It's almost like your nose is a pencil that you're just scratching a little line up and down. Stop in the middle and then just a gentle no nod. So it's like you're just scratching across that line. It's almost like you're making a little plus sign with your nose. Good. And then you're going to bring your head back, and you're just going to allow your body to figure out what you've just done. So how's that feeling? Do you notice a difference on the shoulder of the side that you've just had the ball under compared to the other side? You might even want to check in with your neck range of motion, turn your head from side to side and just see which way feels easier. Let's come to the other side, even you out, because no doubt you've all felt a change. Even if you can't put words to it, that's all right. Pop the ball or the towel back underneath your armpit and let the shoulder rest. So really giving it permission to not be holding on really, really tightly. So it's often where a lot of our neck and shoulder tension comes from, is we squeeze the shoulders upwards. We don't really need to do that. And now you're going to block off the opposite nostril. Take a nice deep inhalation and exhalation. And inhalation and exhalation, all in through your nose and out through your nose. Just feel that gentle rhythm of your breath as you move out and in, and again inhaling and exhaling. Now you're just going to hold onto your wrist. You're going to take a nice inhale, and then as you exhale, gently soften the shoulder over the ball and reach the ear up towards the ceiling, moving the head away from the ball arm. Inhale, releasing, bringing everything straight, and then exhale, drawing down and lengthening through the side. And inhale. As you exhale, just gently gliding down and across, holding it there. Little yes nods, as if you're scratching with a pencil on a piece of paper, doodling. Good. And then to the side. Beautiful. And then just bringing your head straight and just removing that ball. Again, just take a moment to see how that's feeling. You might again want to check in with your neck range of motion. Does that feel easier? Have you got a little bit more movement in there? Fantastic. All right, so what we're going to do next is we're actually going to release a muscle in the side of your face here. So this is one of your sort of chewing muscles. It's a really powerful muscle in the body. And so I just want you to be aware that when that guy is tight, it can really sort of start pulling on the muscles that connect into the rib cage and up into the jaw or the back of the neck. So if we can get that guy to relax, then you're going to find that your shoulders are going to be a lot more relaxed. So just to test this for yourself, gently turn your head in one direction and then turn it in the other direction. And I just want you to think about how that feels. So you might notice that it's easier to move in one direction than the other. You might even want to give it a number out of 5. So let's say 5 is really stiff and you can barely move your head. And 0 is that it feels quite free. Don't try and crank your neck around. Just let the head sort of float from side to side and just see where it stops. So for me today, I might say that when I move over to my left here, that feels like it's a 4 out of 5. But when I go this way, I feel a little bit more restriction, so a 3 out of 5. So I'm just going to keep that in my mind, and when I've done each side of my face, I'm going to retest and see if I've found a little bit more ease of movement. So I want you to use your middle 3 fingers. You're going to find the side of your jaw here, and you're just going to gently press your fingers in, and then you're going to slowly draw down towards the bottom jaw. Don't try and move too fast with this. Pick your fingers up, connect in with the tissue again, pushing into the tissue, and then just gently stretching down. So we're just going to do 6 of those today. Here's your 3rd one, pushing in and gently pulling down. And yes, we're only doing one at a time. Don't try and do both of them at the same time, otherwise you're not going to be able to know if it's been effective. Good, that was my 4th one. Pick your fingers up, really connect with the tissue. So it's almost like dough. You just want to sink in before you move. Beautiful. And then the last one. And pulling down. Good. Now just take a moment there. Turn your head from side to side and see how that feels. I actually feel freer that way, so I'm probably going to give myself a 5 out of 5 for that one now. Let's come to the other side. Again, your middle 3 fingers. Find the bottom of that jawbone just in front of your ear. Come a little bit forward from there. Connect into the tissue and then just gently pull down. Lifting the fingers up, pressing into your cheek and gently pull down. Good. And here's number 3. Good. We're going to do 3 more. So you can do anything from 6 to 15 or even 20 of these, depending on how tight your neck is. And if you find, like this side, it feels a bit like bubble wrap in my cheek. So I might even want to do a few more just to see if I can release that. Cool. All right, I'm going to make that my last one. Good. And then just turn your head from side to side again. Wow, that feels quite a bit different. So I'd probably say that's about a 4, even a 4.5 out of 5 now. So for those of you that suffer from sort of neck tension when you're doing abdominal curls, a lot of that could be because of this tension of these secondary breathing muscles. And this is one good way just to sort of start releasing some of that. So now we're just going to work in on this actual big muscle here. And I want you to imagine that when you grab hold of that muscle, it's a little bit like you're squeezing water out of a sponge and then releasing it and just puffing the sponge back up again. So you just want to grab hold, I don't know if you can see there, but you want to grab hold of that whole muscle. It kind of wraps over the front as well. And you're just going to sort of pick it up. So you're just going to lift it up a little bit as you squeeze. And then just as slowly release. So just have that image of a sponge that you're gently squeezing and then slowly releasing. And one more time, just a gentle squeeze and slowly release. Beautiful. And then just relax. And just compare the 2 sides again. That feels a lot looser, a lot softer. Let's come on to the other side. So you're just going to hold on there. Just a gentle squeeze, lifting that muscle up. Just reminding it that it is a muscle and it doesn't have to be so tense, that it can actually be soft as well. There's a novel experience. Lovely. And then just gently release. And one more time, just a gentle squeeze, lifting that muscle up. And then a gentle release. Good. All right, now some of that tension can also be related down onto your elbows. You've got to remember that all the nerves that sort of come out of your neck and the upper part of your rib cage area sort of all end in your hands. And there's a very big nerve bundle here. I'm sure you've all hit your elbow at some point, and then your arm sort of goes a bit lame. And it's really important to keep that bundle of nerves in there quite free. So we're just going to do that by making a little tent of the fingers. You're going to squeeze them together a little bit, and then you're just going to rotate your arms in as far as you can towards your body, and then out, away, and around as far as you can. So just getting a little bit of a twist going on in that forearm in both directions. Lovely. And this is our third one. Seems like 6 is my magic number today, so we'll just go for 6. Good. Lovely. And number 5, make sure that your shoulders aren't creeping up. Just keep them nice and relaxed, and just let your arms, your forearms, your elbow do the work here. Beautiful. Whoops, lost control of my fingers there, trying to do too much again. And then just give your hands a little bit of a shake. So you should start to feel a little bit more sort of movement and relaxation going on through there. So I've got a little spiky ball here. You can use a tennis ball, or you can just pretend that you're holding on to something. Just want to do one more sort of exercise for that forearm. So I want you to hold on to the ball as if it's a cup that you're holding on to that you're about to drink from. So you wouldn't have your wrist pointed this way, you'd have it flex. So it's going to point towards the wall. Whatever the object is, it's going to point towards the wall at the side. Just make sure your elbow is bent, and then you're going to hold onto your upper arm here. And I would just kind of wind the muscles in so that you're not tempted to drop the upper arm as we're doing this. Again, all we want to do is twist the forearm. So this is just going to give us a little bit more movement. Beautiful. And then you're going to let go of your upper arm. You're going to twist the forearm so that the object points up towards the ceiling. Now let your elbow drop so that you're externally rotating your upper arm, and then just lengthen the arm away so you're sort of reaching forward on a 45-degree angle, and then just turn everything back in and bend your elbow. So you're back to where you started. Twisting the forearm, dropping the elbow, lengthening out, and then we're going to twist everything and come back in. Forearm, dropping the elbow, lengthening out, turn everything in and come back. Forearm, elbow, reaching out. And you'll notice now that I'm sort of coming back with the object facing towards you. There is my starting position again as I do that twist. Good. Lovely. And the last one. Beautiful. So now we've just very gently moved the arm bone in the shoulder socket and just given it that ability just to relax. And I don't know if you can see, but I think that my left shoulder is a little bit lower than my right. It certainly feels like it. It feels really delicious. All right, so now we're going to come onto the other side. Again, just holding onto your object. It could even be a little water bottle that's just got about a third full of water. That's quite an interesting one as well to use because you don't want to have the water sloshing. So now we're just going to start off winding up that upper arm so that it can't move, just focusing on moving at the elbow. So now you might notice that one elbow's got slightly more movement than the other. So if you do have tennis elbow, or if you've got anything where you feel a lot of tension through your forearm, especially if you're on the computer a lot, which we all are at the moment, this is a really good one to do. Good. Now just let go of your upper arm, twist your forearm, drop your elbow to the ground, lengthen the arm out at a 45-degree angle, and then twist back in. Forearm, upper arm, reach, and then twist and come back in. So you're making sort of a big infinity symbol here as you're busy doing this. Beautiful. Good. And we're just going to do one more. Excellent. And then relax and come back down. Good. So you can just get rid of that now. I'm going to get you to come and lie down on your back. We just want to release the pelvis a little bit, and then we're going to do a few more upper body movements. So you're just going to come and lie down, placing your head on a little pillow. So if you want to relax your neck and shoulders, it's really important for you to elevate, especially if you've got a very tight neck. Because otherwise, if you don't have that behind you, what's going to happen is your neck's going to be tight and your ribs might flare. So as soon as the ribs flare, you'll get a lot of tightness through the top of your shoulders there. So I just want you to really invite your ribs to rest. So the very back of that rib cage there, invite it just to rest on the ground. Don't try and force it, because otherwise you're probably going to tuck and you're going to bring tension into your body. So just take a moment and just allow your ribs to soften and widen in the front and at the back. It's quite a nice thing to do. And if you can't quite manage it today, that's okay. Tomorrow's another day. Good. Now we're just going to gently rock the pelvis. So you're just going to let your lower back flatten, let your tail scoop up towards the ceiling, and then you're going to tip in the opposite direction as you inhale. And we're just going to exhale, tip back. And inhale, tip forward. And again, exhale, tip back. And inhale, tip forward. And one more time, exhale, tip back. Inhale, tip forward. And now just let your pelvis rest in the middle between those extremes. So you might find that you want to shift your pelvis away from your ribs a little bit now that you've released your lower back. Again, just check in with your ribs and just make sure that they're nice and soft. Now we're going to reach the arms up towards the ceiling, and we're just going to add a little bit of a reach through that arm and then slowly sink the arm bone back down. So let the arm grow like Jack's beanstalk right up to the sky, and then slowly let it sink back down, but don't chop it down. Yeah, so we don't want a big crash. We're just going to reach, and then we're going to slowly sink. So as you're reaching that arm, you can feel there's a little bit of rotation starting to come into your rib cage, and you're also opening up the space between your shoulder blades. So just enjoy that lovely movement. One more time, reaching up and sinking down. And the last time on the second side and sinking down. Good, that's lovely. If you just grab, sorry, I've lost my wee spiky ball. So if you just grab your spiky ball again, and if you haven't got one, this is okay. You don't need to have it. But if you do have one, or even a bigger spiky ball, if you've got one of those big blue ones, that'll be fine too. So you're going to just place it directly behind your shoulder socket there. So if you think about where your shoulder blade and your arm bone come together, you're just going to place it there and put it on top, put your shoulder on top of the ball. Now the arm movement, your arm is going to move out to the side and then back in again. Yeah, so it's like you're doing just a single arm angel wing. Don't do anything with the other arm. So you're just going to move the arm out and back in. Now at the same time as you're doing that, you're going to turn your head away from the arm that's opening. So you're going to open the arm, you're going to turn your head in the opposite direction, and then you're going to bring your head back and the arm down next to your hip. Let's do an exhale as you open and an inhale as you come back. And we're just going to do 3 more, just opening out. So you might find a little bit of a stretch down your arm. So if your arms are quite tight, you'll definitely be feeling this. Good. And again, opening out and coming back. Lovely. And then just take that ball away and just see if you can notice a difference. To me, that feels like the shoulder is opened a little bit. So that feels quite nice. So now we're going to come onto the other side, just placing that ball directly underneath that shoulder socket again. You're going to open that arm away from the body like an angel wing and turn your head in the opposite direction. And then coming back. And slowly opening out to the side, turning your head and coming back. Opening out to the side and coming back. And just 2 more, using an exhale here as you open, and an inhale when you come back, and an exhale as you open, and an inhale when you come back. Good. And then you can just take that wee ball out, just put it up above your head so it's not in your way. And again, just checking in and seeing how that feels. Hopefully you've got lovely smiling collarbones across the front of your body. They're feeling nice and happy and the shoulders are starting to feel a lot more relaxed. Lovely. So now I'm going to bring you onto the foam roller. So you're going to lie down on your foam roller. And I'm just going to put my wee trusty pillow back there. So it might fall off and you might have to put it back on again. Who knows? There we go. I've managed to keep control of it. So make sure your whole spine is on the foam roller. Now, if you don't have a foam roller, that's fine. You can just do all of these exercises lying directly on the floor. So first, I just want you to bring your arms up as if you're hugging around a big beach ball. And you're just going to let your breath open your arms. So you're just going to inhale and expand out, and then exhale as you come back in. So it's the same movement that's happening to your rib cage here. So you're basically just doing a little dance. You're just showing the movement as you inhale and showing the movement as you exhale. So we're just combining our movement with our breath, and that's one of our Pilates principles of being able to coordinate movement. And I think in particular to coordinate breath with movement is a really key skill. Now we're just going to reach the arms up, and I'd like you to keep your hands nice and soft and open. Let your thumb point to the wall behind you and your little finger point to the wall in front of you. Now just remembering that when you exhale, your ribs gently close and slide toward your hips. Don't force the ribs closed though, it's just the circumference that narrows a bit. So focus just on the ribs sliding away from your arms as you exhale to take the arms back, and then inhale as you bring the arms forward. Exhale as you take the arms back, and inhale as you bring the arms forward. So your arms can only go as far back as you're not letting the ribs pop up. Keep the ribs connected and then come forward. So that way you're actually warming up your upper abdominals at the same time. And just one more time, exhale to go back and inhale to come forward. Now you're going to bring your arms all the way down to the ground. You're going to open your arms just like we did with a ball underneath, and then let your arms pick up and complete a circle. The arms come down, open into your angel wings, and then slowly pick up and come back to the ceiling. Coming forward, circle open, and come back up. And inhale to come down, exhale as you slide your ribs down to pick your arms up. Just pause there for a second, we're going to reverse. Exhale to take the arms back, slide open, sweep towards your hips, and then float them back up. Exhale, move the arms overhead, open the angel wings, sweep them around and pick the arms back up to the ceiling. Just two more. Exhale as you move the arms overhead, and inhale for the recovery. And last one, exhale, open, opening the arms and then coming back up. Now you're just going to bend your elbows next to your body, and then you're going to gently open the front of your chest. So you're making a W shape, keeping your elbows bent, and you're just going to let the arms fold open. So if you're on the floor, those are just going to come towards the floor. And what you might need to do is sort of move the fingertips slightly further to the wall behind you, or move the elbows slightly down towards the wall in front of you. And just see if you can find the best possible stretch there. Now bring your arms back up, and we're going to do that one more time. Just gently opening, just finding release through the front of the shoulders. You're going to bring your arms back up and reach them, and now we're going to do a shoulder massage. So for those of you without a foam roller, you can still do this. You won't get the sensation though of rubbing the inner border of your shoulder blades along the foam roller. So your arms stay straight, and you're basically doing little shoulder shrugs and releases, little shoulder circles, and then just moving in the opposite direction as well, just finding all those little knotty bits between your shoulder blades. Good. And just relax and bringing the arms back down. Now you can roll off your foam roller, and as all my clients always say, the best thing about the foam roller is coming off. So do enjoy that, just lying on your back there for a second and just checking in and seeing how your back is feeling, how your pelvis and your rib cage is feeling, and whether you've still got beautiful smiling collarbones across the front. Lovely. Right, so now I'm going to bring you over, and we're actually going to bring you onto a 4-point kneel position. So when we go into this position, it's really important that we don't hyperextend the elbows, and also that we don't have the hands too close directly underneath the shoulder, because that can often lead to quite a bit of tension through here. So we're just going to take the arm ever so slightly forward, just a very slight angle, so that the arm bone can just settle inside your shoulder socket. Really spread your hands out nice and wide. Just take up a lot of real estate. And then you're going to think of reaching your sitting bones to the wall behind you, the crown of the head to the wall in front of you. So if you were a little puppet, imagine that we've got a string on each of your vertebrae, just picking yourself up, making a lovely even length through your spine. Now imagine that we're just sagging those strings a little bit, and the puppet's just going to melt down towards the floor. So the entire puppet is sinking, not just one part. And then pushing away and just pick all of those vertebrae back up. And you're just going to gently sink in between your shoulders, and then you're going to gently push back up and gently sink. So your shoulder blades are moving together. So it's like squeezing your shoulder blades together. And then you're going to open them like two sliding doors as you push up. So imagine the doors are closing towards your spine, and now slide them wide open across your back. Lovely. Just one more time. And pushing back up. Now, if that was uncomfortable for you on your wrists, you have a few different options, because we're going to do it again. So you can either put a towel underneath your wrist to elevate you. You could potentially use one of these little balls. Otherwise, your other option is just to go onto your forearms, and then you can just sink down and push back up. Okay? If this is really uncomfortable on your knees, then you could be standing, and I'll just keep kneeling, otherwise I'm going to be out of shot. And you can put your arms on the wall, and you can slump and push away from the wall. So you have lots of different options there. So let's just go ahead and do those again, just to contract and release those muscles between your shoulder blades. And then I'm going to show you how to get rid of that pesky little niggle directly underneath the shoulder blade. So again, hands slightly in front of the shoulder socket, pushing away, finding the length between your sitting bones and the crown of your head by thinking of reaching them in opposite directions. Tuck your toes under to give you more stability. Now let your little puppet strings slowly sink you down, almost as if you're going to go and drink water, but without bending your elbows, and then pushing back up again. Slowly sink your whole spine down, the shoulder blades close like two sliding doors, and now you're going to open the shoulder blades as you push up. Be careful though not to exaggerate and curve your spine. Keep it long. Just let your body sink and lift, and again sinking and lifting. Good. And just sit back and have a little rest in child's pose. Good. Now from that point, you're going to just keep yourself in the child's pose position, and I want you to just place your elbow between your knees, pressing your palm down on the ground and your forearm. The other hand's going to come into your lower back. So again, have that sense of pushing the floor away, and then you're just going to twist and look up towards the ceiling and coming back down. So this one is fantastic for releasing that tightness between your shoulder blades or underneath your shoulder blade. So pushing away, this is our third one, and come back. We're going to do 5. Push away and look up towards the ceiling and come back. And one more time, twisting and come back. Good. Let's switch over. You're going to pop that arm onto the floor, pushing down nice and firmly, push the floor away to help you twist and look up towards the ceiling. And come back. Push away and twist. And come back. And 3 more. I don't really mind what you're doing with the breathing here. I think I might exhale as I come up and inhale as I come down. But if you're doing the reverse, it really doesn't matter. Last one. And coming back. Good. And then just bring yourself up into sitting and just see how that feels. Hopefully that's feeling quite delicious. So I'm just going to move my foam roller out the way. And I'm going to bring the Swiss ball in. Now, you might not have a Swiss ball, so if you can't do this one, that's okay. If you've got a smaller ball, like if you've got a children's ball or a soccer ball, you could actually do this against a wall. So you would basically just hold the ball against the wall and do the same movement. But since I'm on the floor here, I'm just going to use my Swiss ball. Just place the hand on the ball, really opening your hand, making sure that the hand and the shoulder are in line. Now you're just going to hinge forward from your hips so that you're just moving the ball out in front of you just a little bit. So you've got a nice sort of long sort of ski slope spine. And now, whoops, just move my ball out the way there. I'm just going to do little circles. Now one thing you can do here is just hold on to your shoulder blade. And I don't want you to be moving that shoulder blade around. So you're only moving in the range where you can't feel the shoulder blade moving, and you're not going to let the top of that arm get tight. Good. And then just reverse in the opposite direction. So you might have to just sort of walk your fingers on the ball to keep control of it. Good. And we'll just do one more. So it's probably about 6 in each direction, and then coming back up and just see how that feels. Good. Now let's go on to the other side. So again, you're just hinging from the hip here, keeping your spine nice and long. So have that same sense as the 4-point kneel where you reach your sitting bones back and reaching the crown of the head forward. It's that nice sense of length. Again, holding onto your shoulder blade to make sure that as you move your arm, that your shoulder blade is not sliding across your back. This is one time where we really don't need that because we're working in quite in a range actually where the shoulder blade shouldn't really be involved. So if your circle is too big, then the shoulder blade is going to slide. Good. And then coming back up. Beautiful. So just one more exercise here with a Swiss ball. You're going to place your hands on the front. And now we're going to think about that ski slope again. You're just going to hinge at your hip, and that's the only reason that your arms are moving. And then coming back. So imagine you're painting a stripe with your eyes directly in front of you down to the ball, and then from the ball back up again, looking into that mid-distance. So that way you're not going to be tempted to crunch at the back of the neck, and then slowly bring yourself back. Good. As you go forward, make sure you're only moving from the hips. Don't collapse your ribs either. And come back. Paint a stripe with your eyes, relax your shoulders, keep control of your ribs. And coming back up. So I would inhale as I go forward and exhale as I come back. And inhale to go forward and exhale to come back. Good. So one final exercise here, and this one, if you have got a little bit of shoulder impingement, so that means if you lift your arm up and you go, whoa, that's sore, and then the arm sort of freeze up as you get higher, that would be an impingement. So it kind of has a little bit of a point where it gets really, really tight. So you can use your broomstick for this. So I'm just going to pop that across my back. Now it's really important here that when you do this, that you don't try and reach right up between your shoulder blades. Just find a comfortable position. Your elbow is going to be bent and the other end is over your shoulder. Now you can be doing this standing up. Just because of the filming, I'm actually staying down. So, and then you're just going to hold on to the other side. Now be very careful with this. It doesn't feel like much, but it is quite powerful. So I don't want you to kind of yank on that bottom arm. So the shoulder that you're stretching is the shoulder that's holding on at the back bottom of your stick. So then you're going to seesaw that stick forward over your shoulder, and that's what's stretching the back shoulder. And then just relax back down, okay? So just keep the shoulder relaxed. Let the front arm do the moving. The back arm comes along for the ride. Good. And again, gently tipping forward and relax back. And then the last one here, we don't want to do too many of these either. Good. And then just pop your stick down there for a second and just see how that feels. Oh, it's so nice. I love that exercise. Good. And let's come on to the other side. So putting it across your back on an angle, holding on with the other hand in a position that's comfortable behind your back. So as much or as little elbow bend as is comfortable. This front elbow is pointing down towards the ground, and it's just going to seesaw down and then back up. And seesaw forward over your front shoulder and coming back up. And again, this is our third one. I think we did about 6 on the other side. Don't quote me on that. 4, I'm too busy talking to you. Good, and 2 more. 5 and 6. Good. Excellent. All right, so I hope that's given you some more ideas of things that you can be doing just to look after your shoulders, and that you're feeling rejuvenated and energized and a lot more relaxed. So thank you very much for joining me. I'll see you soon. Bye.